Hi all, we're back in Scotland with a rogue wave, some glassy clear conditions, seal wrestling, Fingals Cave, inside and out. If you're a regular on the channel, you'll know we're based on the south coast, so it's a 10-hour drive for us to Oban. We soon get to the Firkin Point though, and we pop by the Potty before we launch at Port. So Port is on the southwest corner of the Isle of Mull, and it is where the little ferry goes to the other island of Iona. So the land visible's dead ahead, that is the island of Iona, Port behind, and we're making our way out of that channel into the open water to the north of that. From there we'll leave straight across, almost straight north, to the island of Staffa. So visible just to the left of that rock is one of the glorious white sandy beaches on the island of Iona. You'll see more of those the next video. We go around the island of Iona and you'll see some of these beaches, some of the rugged craggy rocks around the far side of the island. So we're soon out in the open water, and another glimpse looking behind there at another white sandy beach on the northern tip of Iona. Random bird, guillemot I think. But we see some splashing going on ahead. So ever the optimist, we think, oh, it's bound to be whales or dolphins. Of course it is, isn't it? So we'll get out the 4K camera. More splashing. So we're a good distance off the coast now. But as we get close, it becomes apparent it's two seals having a wrestling match. They're properly going for it, grabbing at each other's throats. You can hear the heavy breathing and grunting going on. It's all quite primeval. You can see we've covered a good distance, so this has been going on for a while, and goodness knows how long before. They're both quite big seals. There was one quite grey and one quite black one. I've no idea what the breeds are, but they apparently don't get on very well. So with that, we leave them to it and we keep going north. But check out the background there, these different rolling hills. Quite beautiful. Steady progress north, that's Staffa dead ahead. And one of the tour boats. Now on this particular day, our ladies have taken a tour out to these islands, which are the Treshnish Islands. They didn't fancy a long paddle out to Staffa and back. And so we'll meet up with them again later. Another one of the tour boats, and this shows the Treshnish Islands viewed from just south of Staffa. There's a couple of cruise ships. You might have seen the second one of those coming across from our left, but they're both anchored up by the time we make it to Staffa. See the rubber boat there? They'd come off one of these cruise ships and they're all going in there as a relay, 4 or 5 of these little rubber boats going into the cave. Certainly not quite the isolation we pictured, but there you go, you get what you're given. First approach of Staffa, absolutely stunning. It's another one of these rubber boats. Duncan turning up, one of the rubber boats going inside the cave. So to avoid a bun fight with this relay of rubber boats, we left them to it and we went around the eastern side of the island towards that little pyramid, and that is where the landing jetty is normally. But it's still fascinating to just paddle along. You see all these hexagonal columns all along. You can see there's a wire rope pinned to the cliff, I guess for walkers to get along the beach safely when it's a bit rough. And here's your little jetty being rebuilt as we speak. So if you come by a proper boat, you probably won't make it to the island because these guys are rebuilding the steps, working diligently while we're out playing. Up. Quick nose at the workers, we'll inspect what they're up to. Looks alright from here. And we'll head back to that south corner and we'll have a look at Fingals Cave. Now all those rubber boats have cleared off. Thankfully, no rubber boats. So I chose to reverse in because you can hear a lot of splash going on inside. It goes well beyond what you can see from the outside. I would rather be able to get out easily if I need to. I usually tend to cut each little take down to a short piece on my videos, but this I just left it untouched, so it does go on a bit, but you'll get the best view of the cave. It does feel like a scene from Journey to the Centre of the Earth, and the ceiling is just as interesting as the walls. There's Duncan heading in behind me. And I forgot to swab the camera before I went in. I beg forgiveness. And with that, Fingals Cave is done. However, later on in this video, by the time we'd gone around the island, the sun had come up and it looked even more spectacular with bright sunlight on it and in it. So stick around for a better look a bit later. You often hear don't turn your back on the sea, so right here, casually looking at the rocks, and I got this little surprise, little rogue wave there. Caught my attention, but stayed upright, so that's good. And just round the corner, this little bay was just full of birds. There were puffins, there was guillemots, all sorts of others that I have no idea what they were. The puffins were going up and down to and from the cliff there. Puffin flyby, and if you don't know what a puffin's all about, it's these little fellas. So Rossa and Sarah took these shots on the Treshnish Isles the same day. So not from Staffa, I'll admit, but near enough. So leaving the puffins alone, we're heading off round the corner now to the northern side of the island. More dramatic cliffs, not very welcome if you want to try and land there. We did meet another kayaker along here, and I didn't have my camera on. So we stopped for a little natter, moved on. As we got back towards Fingals Cave, he was there again. He'd just done the circuit of the island the other way round. So we're leaving the north, now the last corner taking us round to the eastern side of the island, heading back towards Fingals. By now we're scoping for somewhere we can get ashore easily without smashing ourselves or the boats, and we'll have a quick sandwich. There aren't many beaches, and none of them look very easy to land on. And even though it doesn't look very dramatic, there was still a bit of a swell, so doing it without breaking yourself or the boat was a bit of a challenge. So round another corner and spotted a little lunch spot through the cave, and there was a small sheltered beach right past it. And again a salty camera, sorry about that. Quick check Duncan sees where I disappear to, and I'll go on in to the dining room. Duncan found me, so that's promising. Quick pan round, there's my delicate parking. And look at that scenery. What a place for a sandwich. It turns into a major flyby of puffins again. Almost a slick of puffins out there on the water. So lunch done, we're moving on. I guess that's a tour boat there. They've obviously stopped specifically to show off the puffins. There's a crowd of people on the top deck. I'll pop out the 4K camera again because I can. Try and get all artistic. And there's the crowds on this little tour boat. So moving on, here's one of the beaches we didn't know was there. But there you go, we missed it. And head in for a quick close-up nosy at the rocks here, which are visible there. The folds in the rocks, it's made up of all these same columns, I guess. but obviously not so straight. Quite fascinating. But there you go. I'm no geologist, so that's as good a description as you're going to get. So we're back to this little pyramid and the jetty, and now coming back to Fingals when we meet the kayaker, him having done his round of the island in the opposite direction. So he'd come to the island from a different route. He'd come across from the northern end. We came up to it from the south. So another little gossip. Left him to it. And we're heading back. But check out the clouds. The sun has come out. That grey murk has disappeared. Another wee chat with these guys. They just rowed across from the little yacht there. So some decent photos now with the sunshine. Quite spectacular. There's one of these tour boats. And our chance to get into the cave now with some sunshine. Didn't bother turning round this time. The swell's actually a bit bigger. I didn't plan to go as far in. I just wanted to have a little look in there, get some better pictures with decent light. And as luck would have it, the camera's a bit cleaner this time. Quite fascinating. It's that lovely clear water. It was about this point I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll put my sunglasses on, which if you're observant you'll notice I started this trip with my sunglasses. So this has become a sorrowful ode to my sunglasses, which somewhere along the trip disappeared. There'll be a cool seal out there wearing them. Not me. I've had these for years, they're part of the furniture now. But there you go. Gone. Yeah, keep looking. You've lost it. Swine. Navigation is dead simple heading back, apart from being near enough straight south. You can see the gap there between Iona and the end of Mull. So we're just aiming at that gap, and on the left hand side of that is where we started. Another pan round, just showing how spectacular it is. The camera never really gives it justice, but it's gorgeous. So the boat coming up here now, that was the actual boat with Rossa and Sarah on it. So there we go, that is the film of little old us paddling along. And what do you do when a boat goes by? You try and surf the wake, but as usual it was a little underwhelming. But we tried. Doesn't need words, it's just amazing, gorgeous. One of those white sandy beaches in the background. So now inside the Sound of Iona, that's Iona on the right and the end of Mull on the left. That is the ferry from Port to Iona, and that's Duncan. And coming back towards Port, and this is pretty much where the battery died in the camera. Though as luck would have it, by then Rossa and Sarah were back on the beach to catch the arrival. So final approach to the beach, of course a random Valkyrie shot because you can, and we're done. So that's 28 k's back to Port on the southwest corner of Mull, packing up the kit and annoying Rossa. Here's the stats and a GPS trace, and of course a bit more detail. Port out to Staffa, round it and back. We're by no means done. This was a week-long trip, so there's more to come. I think the next one will be around Iona, showing off some of those gorgeous white sandy beaches. So stick around and watch that one next.